Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Saturday evening to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there tonight. Had yourselves a wonderful day, and I hope everyone's been having a great weekend out there so far. It's a dangerous night of weather out there across the eastern U.S. We have ongoing flash flooding across many states. We have a severe weather threat as a line of storms is organizing right now, and it's going to sweep across the entire deep south overnight into the southeast tomorrow morning. And then we got a winter weather side to this that's ramping up, and we got winter storm warnings up for a good chunk of New England. So what we're going to do in this video is obviously I'm not live right now. There's a lot of people tuning in to the Storm Chasers going live. Just giving you live information like Ryan Hall, for example, the bigger name out there. And certainly expect you guys to tune into that, especially if you're in these areas being impacted right now to the overnight hours. But here on this channel, we're going to keep you ahead of this system. We'll speak a little bit about what's going on right now, but more so what's going to happen over the next 12 to 24 hours with this storm system. So if your area is not experiencing much of this weather we've been talking about, and you're expecting to see this weather, we're going to speak about that a lot. So we'll talk about the winter weather side one last time, the severe weather side. We'll speak a little bit on the flooding, and we'll talk about winds. And this will be the last really big update of this powerful storm system for this weekend that's ongoing right now. After we get done discussing all of that, we will switch gears and break down this next winter storm threat that's going to bring a swath of accumulating winter weather much further south. And this system could certainly be a significant winter storm for many areas getting into next week with an Arctic outbreak behind it. So we're going to speak on everything. Timestamps will be up. Please just remember, my videos are very long. You're going to find the information you're seeking. You just gotta move through those timestamps. The information is there. I certainly do not shy away from the detailed info on this channel. I can't help myself. I just like talking about the weather. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And if anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. And we're praying for you in these flood-stricken areas for sure. I've been praying. I've done prayed a couple times this afternoon. I've had people hit me up on Facebook, social media, talking about their town is getting flooded. So it's an awful situation out there. And we saw this coming, and hopefully people were as about prepared as you can be in this situation, right? So let's get going here. So this is all the watches, warnings, and advisories, and everything's overlapping each other. So let's start off with the winter weather side of things. Winter storm warnings up for all of New England. I mean, one or two counties in Maine, just winter weather advisories, but a big time winter weather event is really getting going, but really going to get going tonight into tomorrow for the Northeast. Winter weather advisories all the way down into southern New England across PA. You zoom in closer to West Virginia, the higher elevations, you actually have winter storm warnings and even blizzard warnings up even a blizzard warning up for the far western county of Maryland. So Allegheny Mountains, we're expecting snow to ramp up in this area as northwest flow snow affects this area over the next 24 to 48 hours. And all this right here, this is all flash flood warnings. Of course, you have the flood watches ongoing right now. You got the flood warnings, you got flash flood warnings. I mean, you probably got flooding emergencies in here. A lot is going on. Okay, so if you're not under a flash flood warning right now, don't think you're out of the woods or anything like that, because it certainly can get bad quick. Flooding is like that. You think, okay, this is not that bad, then suddenly it is. So, please take this serious if it's not serious yet in your area is what I'm trying to say. So one interesting thing about these areas that are getting a lot of rain right now, like Kentucky, is you actually could get a burst of snow by tomorrow morning. In fact, they're calling for a little accumulating snow in like western Kentucky, eastern Kentucky. We even have winter weather advisories up here north of Lexington. We have winter weather advisories up here in northern Indiana. In fact, we might get some winter weather advisories for southern Indiana. So there's a lot going on, and I'm going to connect all the pieces to this giant puzzle here in a second. Still got winter weather advisories up here in lower Michigan, winter storm warnings, and we got some winter weather alerts up here in the UP of Michigan. And then we have the tornado watches ongoing right now across areas of the deep south and the Mississippi Delta. I'm going to speak on this and this up here later in the video when we break down the winter storm on the way. These winter storm watches are up for the winter storm on the way early next week. Okay, so zooming back out, this is what's going on right now. A lot is going on. Now, if you look at the radar, you see all the heavy rain. And we got even some severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing. No tornado warnings going on right at this second. But we got a lot of heavy rain across areas of Kentucky, Southern Illinois, southern Indiana, it is raining like crazy, and there's the winter weather side of this. And all this moisture right here is going to head right into this cold dome of air into the northeast. So this first blast of winter weather for the northeast, this is not it. You got all this moisture that's bringing all this flash flooding right now to these states to your southwest on the way. And then we got an interesting setup unfolding already. You see this kind of stripe of snow in Illinois, and even, I mean, you got an area of snow all the way back down here to Oklahoma, down here to Kansas. In fact, you could get a little bit of accumulating snow in northern Arkansas, even southern Missouri tonight. So there's many pieces to this storm ongoing right this second. So there's a lot of moisture out there in the atmosphere. Now, just to quickly show you just a run of the Euro for the life of the rest of this system. We'll start off this evening. Of course, it matches up pretty well with what's going on radar. You got all this dark green indicating rain. We got this blast of winter weather moving into the northeast right now. Now watch as we start to get into the overnight hours. This is the middle of the night tonight. You see the snow. You see the green starting to turn to blue up here. This rain switching to snow in northern Indiana where you do have those winter weather advisories. We got this burst of snow back here in Missouri, almost said Illinois, and Illinois. But this is nothing compared to what's to come. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We keep this going, right? We get into Sunday morning. You could be waking up to a burst of snow in western Kentucky, heck, even western Tennessee, the Boot Hill, Missouri, southern areas of Illinois, almost all of Indiana, northwestern areas of Ohio, up to lower Michigan, all the way up to Detroit. A heavy burst of snow waking up to tomorrow morning. This system, low pressure right here, even down here, trough digging down, low pressure is ejecting off this trough. This is snow turning into freezing rain up here in Boston. So, the snow is starting to begin right now in Boston. It's really going to pick up into the overnight hours, and then you're going to switch to probably some freezing rain. And then southern New England's going to be dealing with that pink, which is freezing rain. Northern areas, interior areas of New England, this will be heavy, wet snow. But, as we start to get about midday tomorrow, look at this band of snow making its way through the Ohio Valley. We're going to have snow flurries. Probably making its way all the way down to Nashville, Tennessee. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. This is a lot of rain. This will be like a line of storms. I know it just shows a wide area of kind of rain and green down here in the southeast, but this will be more so a line of storms, strong winds out ahead of it and behind it. And then check it out. We keep this going. Rain switches to snow, back to snow in western PA, West Virginia, the Appalachian Mountains, Ohio, you're getting snow. Check it out. You're raining tonight in Cleveland, and then you switch to snow tomorrow morning. And then you switch to rain for pretty much, and it's going to be a wind-driven rain too. So you'll get several inches of snow like in Boston, and then you'll switch to rain by tomorrow evening. And look at that ice up here in Vermont, New Hampshire, the Adirondacks, down east areas of Maine, southern Maine, big-time snowstorm up in northern Maine. And then you get the wraparound energy, the cold air filtering in, and then we get the northwest flow late Sunday night, tomorrow night into Monday morning. And with the winds whipping, you are certainly going to have an opportunity for, let's back it up here, man. We are jumping all over the place. Oh, it went to the 18Z. That's why. But we are certainly going to be dealing, let's back it up here, with a lot of northwest flow ongoing in this area. Scattered snow flowers, snow showers as far south as Tennessee, things like that. So let's give you one last update on the winter weather side of this system. Okay, and then we'll move past this system as far as winter weather. All right, so this is the latest graphic. It's issued about 4 p.m. Eastern time in lower Michigan. This is how much snow you could expect in this area. Another 6 to 8 inches of snow in Detroit. Some of this maybe has already fell, but still, the eastern areas of lower Michigan still have several more inches to go. And then we head on down to northern Indiana, another few inches of snow. And this is this is really all the way to about 7 p.m. Tomorrow evening. This was issued a few hours ago. Another few inches of snow is on the way, and that's that backside moisture I just talked about later tonight into tomorrow morning. Look at northwest Ohio, a few inches of snow. Defiance 2 to 3, Fort Wayne 3 to 4, South Bend about 3 inches of snow. So not expecting really much in the ice with this system. And then we make it down to Indianapolis. They're going from about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of snow now in Indianapolis. And pretty much the same. That's the common theme across Indiana. About 1 to as much as 3 inches of snow. And I could see more than this falling. Once you get out to Bloomington, Indiana, Columbus, more than this could actually fall. All right. And then we look at Kentucky. And, I know I don't have I know I don't have like Evansville up, but you guys could certainly get some snow. And then we do look at Kentucky. They could be underdoing this in Kentucky, could be lowballing this. But the entire state of Kentucky, I think, is going to get some snow. I think you can say that you've seen some snow flying around by this time tomorrow night in Kentucky. We're getting all this flooding, and you could wrap it up with a blast of snow throughout the entire state of Kentucky by tomorrow morning. I really think a band of snow will be making its way through, and you could get a quick inch, 2 inches of snow from this. It's cold air's blasting through. So, I mean, pretty much anywhere can get nothing to maybe as much as 2 inches of snow. We'll see what happens. I'm very interested to see what happens in this area. And then looking at southeast Ohio, Columbus going for 1 to 2 inches of snow. Cincinnati about 1 to 2. Dry Ridge in Kentucky 1 to 2. Dayton 2 to 3 inches of snow. So going for some accumulating snow in this area. And then we get up to northern Ohio, Cleveland, 3 to 4 inches of snow. Someone can get a half a foot of snow out of this in northwestern Ohio. So once you get down Interstate 80 closer to Toledo, somewhere in this area between Toledo and Cleveland could get 4, 5, 6 inches of snow. But going for accumulating snow in this area. So we start to move into southeast areas of Ohio. I might have said southeast over here, but this is southeast areas of Ohio. A few tenths of an inch of snow. More than that could fall. Charleston, almost an inch is what they're calling for. And this is probably mixing some northwest flow action with this too. Okay, and this is actually between 1 p.m. Sunday and 10 a.m. Monday. So they're doing me wrong here. This is between, this is better. It's between 7 p.m. Saturday and 7 p.m. Tuesday. I like this look better. So a snowshoe, about 7 inches of snow. I know there's a little gap right here, right where Kentucky, Ohio, and West Virginia meet, but I could definitely see some accumulating snow falling in this region. And then we look at ice. Certainly can get additional ice totals out here, but I really think a lot of this has already happened, but definitely still getting maybe some freezing rain up in the snowshoe area. And then we head on to the Mid-Atlantic. Nothing really expected for most of this region, but that's going to change later next week, I'm telling you. Northern counties of West Virginia, 1 to 2 inches of snow is possible from this. This is basically what happened probably earlier. So this is combining maybe what happened earlier. I'm not sure what you got in northern Ohio. Oof, we did such a long video this morning that I'm trying to get my stamina back up with this video. So a couple inches of snow, and I think this is combining a little bit of maybe what could happen as we're getting into tomorrow morning in this area. But I really think this is for what happened earlier. So they don't really have an updated graphic in this region. Let me see if they have a new graphic. They don't. So yeah, this is really what's happening right now. But this is the graphic out of PA. This is between about now and 7 p.m. Tuesday. Pittsburgh, an inch or less. Allegheny Mountains, a few inches of snow is possible into PA. It'll be more once you get south into Maryland and West Virginia. They're not really calling for anything in this area. And remember, this area is kind of dealing with snow right now. Or not snow, but maybe a wintry mix. This is when you're kind of getting into what's happening right now. So it's kind of weird showing you this because this is happening right now. So this is verifying from back this morning. So this is happening right now. We really got to get ahead of this system. And this is happening right now too. I mean, New York City's might have already changed to a wintry mix or rain at this point, but let me know what you've seen in the New York City area from this, even Connecticut. This is moving in right now. In fact, you look at the radar out of this area. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's snowing in southern New England stuff right now. So, and New York City. So let's go on and back it up to this area. I do want to show you ice. A few 100ths of an inch of ice is possible between now and 1 a.m. Sunday. So this is tonight, really. So about a tenth of an inch of ice at most. Now we head on back to western New York, Buffalo. This is between now and 1 a.m. Monday. A few inches of snow. We get north of Buffalo, though. A half a foot is possible. Rochester, 3 inches of snow. Tokyo Plateau, over a half a foot. Clayton, about a foot of snow between now and 1 a.m. Monday. Definitely some ice in this area. This is between now and 1 a.m. Monday. A few tenths of an inch of ice is possible over here, closer to the Adirondacks and the Tokyo Plateau. High Market going for 4/10 of an inch of freezing rain, mixed with several inches of snow. That is a tough situation for sure. But moving closer to Binghamton, about 2.5 inches of snow. And this is really for what's happening right now. So just remember that. It's really the ice that has not happened yet in this area. This will move in later tonight into tomorrow. Certainly a scary amount of ice. If you live in that red color, that's over 1/4 of an inch of ice that they're forecasting. Binghamton itself, lower elevation, maybe 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain. But Monticello down here, if I said that right, 4/10 of an inch of freezing rain is what they're going for. That's an all-out ice storm, guys. So, of the Albany, this is happening right now. Snow is falling, but the entirety of this event between now and 7 p.m. Sunday, a lot of snow could fall, especially north of Albany. We start to get into all the small communities closer to the Adirondacks, over 1/2 foot of snow. Berkshire, several inches of snow. Southern areas of Vermont, Brattleboro, about 6-7 inches of snow. Bennington, 3 to 4 inches of snow. Manchester, 5 to 6. Freezing rain. This really has not got going yet in this area. It will, though. If you live in that red colored area, over 1/4 of an inch of ice. In that orange colored area, 1/10 to 1/4 inch of a freezing rain. So you're going to get all this snow in this area, and then you're going to get notable freezing rain too that falls on top of that. So it'll be snow to ice, not ice to snow. Snow to ice. We head on up into the Adirondacks between now and 7 a.m. Monday. Good for 6 to 10 inches of snow. Some areas will get over 1 foot closer to the Canadian border. Up here in the Adirondacks, the entire state of Vermont here. I mean, everybody's pretty much good for at least 4 to almost 10 inches of snow, depending on your elevation and where you live. And this is snow at first, and then we switch to that freezing rain, guys. Springfield, Vermont, going for 3/10 of an inch of freezing rain. And if you live in that red, same thing, 1/4 of an inch. Orange, 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. So freezing rain is going to be a big deal in this area. Southern New England, Worcester, 4 to 6 inches of snow. Boston, 4 to 6. This will be right at the front end of the system. They're going for a good bit of snow right at the beginning. This will be heavy, wet snow. 3 to as much as 8 inches of snow across southern New England. So a lot of snow right at the beginning. This will be a heavy, wet snow, but unfortunately you will switch to ice. The Worcester Hills, 1/4 inch to maybe as much as a 1/2 an inch of ice, freezing rain. And the Berkshires, same thing. You'll hang on to that freezing rain for longer once you get west of Boston. But yeah, several inches of snow, then you get the freezing rain on top of it. It'll be that crust, like the snow, and then you'll get that like ice skating rink type stuff on top of the snow. This is not just going to be a clean storm of all snow. And then we head on up to this is New Hampshire. Just about the entire state of New Hampshire is good for 6 to 12 inches of snow. Concord, 8 to 12. Plymouth, 8 to 12 inches of snow. Manchester, 6 to 8. This storm has not really moved in quite yet. By the time some of you folks is watching this, it could. But, Augusta, 4 to 6. Rumford, 8 to 12. Jackman, 8 to 12. And then we're even going to get ice in this area. You can't even avoid it up here. Southern New Hampshire, guys. For example, Manchester going for over 1/2 foot of snow with 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of freezing rain. Coastal areas of Maine, you're going to get a heavy freezing rain event after a few inches of snow right at the beginning, maybe several inches of snow. This is a significant winter storm because of the ice. 4 to 6 inches of snow up here, heck, even 6 to 8, really ain't a big deal for you guys. But when you mix the freezing rain with it, it becomes a big deal for anybody. We head on up to the northern areas of Maine. Down east areas are going to get a good 4 to 8 inches of snow. Central Maine, anywhere from 8 to 18 inches of snow. Northern Maine could get 2 feet. We're going to deal with freezing rain down here too. Not really up here, but down here in the down east areas of Maine, 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of freezing rain, guys. So the severe weather threat is ongoing right now. This is the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center. Enhanced risk continues. This will start to get chopped down as this line of storms moves through. Stable air moves in, but we still have the tornado threat. If you live in that yellow area, this is between now and the next several hours, guys. This yellow area, that is a 10% risk of a tornado. If you live in the black outlined area in that yellow area, which is just about the entire yellow area, there's also a 10% risk of a strong tornado. This looks like it's going to be all nocturnal. It's going to happen over the next several hours into the overnight hours. And even if this wasn't nocturnal, this would probably be rain-wrapped stuff in a line of storms. but the wind threat increased today. So this is downstream. Like, this hasn't even developed yet. So in the red area, that's a 30% chance of winds exceeding 55 to 60 miles per hour. Guys, in this pink color right here, or purple, whatever you want to call it, which includes eastern Mississippi into western and southwestern Alabama, that is where you have a 45% risk of winds exceeding 55 to 60 miles per hour. Almost a 50-50 shot, folks. This is serious. It's a serious, severe weather threat. And then day 2, which is tomorrow, this line of storms is going to make it through, all the Carolinas as far, you got a marginal risk as far north as like the southern tip of New Jersey. But we're going to wake up to this line of storms, which will be working with a really ripe atmosphere down here in southern Georgia, the Panhandle, and northern Florida. And you will have a 2% risk of a tornado down here, but it's really driven off winds. 15% risk in this yellow area of winds exceeding 55 to 60 miles per hour. And just to look at what the radar could look like, this is the HRRR model, the HRRR model. And this is starting off around 7 p.m., which it is 6:30 right now. So this is 5:30 in Central Time. So this is about 7 p.m. Back this up an hour because this is in Eastern Time. 7 p.m. Hopefully you know where you are on the map. That's important. And a night like this is 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. The line of storms is making its way through western Tennessee, all of Mississippi, embedded spin-ups ahead of this line. This is 11 o'clock tonight. The line of storms starts to move into western Alabama, sweeps across middle Tennessee. There'll even be a line of storms up in southern Ohio. This is, it's still put together. This is 1 o'clock in the morning. The line of storms is making its way through southeast Louisiana, southern areas of Mississippi, all of Alabama. It starts to move into the northwest corner of Georgia. Storms are sweeping through southeastern Alabama. And then by the time we're waking up tomorrow morning, this line of storms making its way through the entire Panhandle of Florida, all of Georgia, and then they begin to move into the Carolinas. And here's a closer look at the Carolinas. Look at this line of storms. It's around 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, making its way through all the mountains. The upstate of South Carolina, sweeping through Georgia. This could kind of regain some steam maybe sometime tomorrow morning. And by the time we're into, I think tomorrow afternoon, skies might be clearing and the cold air moves in. But unfortunately, we are going to have to deal with, this threats of tornadoes. Like, this is the updraft Felicity swath, guys. Like, let's go on and just look at this. So where you see these slashes of colors, the greens, the blues, even some reds and oranges, this is where you have your highest chance of a tornado on this particular model run. And this really highlights this area up here between now and the next several hours. But even embedded in this line as you get into Alabama and Georgia, it indicates rotating updrafts with this between now and mid-morning tomorrow. So this is for what happens tonight in this area. So this is the significant tornado parameter between now and the next several hours. You can tell it spikes around Memphis. What's crazy is Memphis is probably going to get a winter weather. It might be just a flat-out winter storm here in the next few days. But you can see how the number kind of dwindles down a little bit. But, the winds tonight will be howling across this region. And, look at that. We're going to get 30, 40, 50 mile per hour wind gust with some of this. Yeah, some of these storms will be working with a lot of wind energy. So, and just to kind of round this off, and the reason I'm not showing you updated rainfall totals, guys, for Kentucky and stuff, because you guys got a lot going on. You got a lot going on in your hands right now, and it's a now thing. But what I can tell you is these are wind gusts between now and midday Tuesday, so pretty much the entirety of the rest of this event. The winds will be gusting tomorrow across the southeast up to 40, 45, maybe up to 50 miles per hour. You get into the mid-Atlantic, guys, these are wind gusts in the mid-Atlantic. That's some strong winds. DC could get a 55 mile per hour wind gust tomorrow, same thing. This is why you have blizzard warnings in areas of West Virginia. But look at these strong winds in New Jersey, Long Island, Delaware. Someone could get maybe close to a 60 mile per hour wind gust. So please be aware of this. But switching gears now, this is the last big update. Appreciate y'all trusting me with this storm. I'm praying for everybody being impacted. It's a powerful storm system, and that's why I kept calling it that, because it's very dynamic. But let's go on and break down the winter weather threat for next week. So let's zoom out a little bit. First off, we do have winter weather advisories and even winter storm warnings up in Wyoming and Montana. And these winter weather advisories are for what's to come, with some light snow falling and very cold temperatures. Heck, we even have winter weather advisories in northern sections of the panhandle of Texas right now. There is a little bit of snow making its way through this area, and that's why you have special weather statements for what's going on right now. But this area right into here, these winter storm watches, this includes south of Topeka down to southeastern areas of Kansas, and includes all of southwestern Missouri, which does include Springfield, Joplin. They already have winter storm warnings up. They expire in 4 days. This is where they're extremely confident on a winter storm being on the way. In fact, I'll read a discussion for you guys. Heavy snow possible. There are medium to high chances, 50 to 75% of snowfall totals exceeding 5 inches. And I think you're going to get a lot more than this. So this is kind of round one of winter storm watches already issued. Now let's go on and break this down. And we do have the 18Z Euro, and I haven't seen this yet. So this is new data that I hadn't even seen. So we'll see if it looks any different, especially for our friends here in the eastern U.S. So we're going to start this off Monday evening. So this is Monday evening. We got light snow falling and very cold temperatures across the plains. We start to get into Tuesday morning. Light snow begins to make its way through Kansas City, through Kansas, through the high plains of the Dakotas and Nebraska. And then we start to get to midday Tuesday. It's the 18th. Winter storm begins to develop across Oklahoma, Kansas, snow falling as far southwest as Amarillo. You got the freezing rain in areas of Oklahoma. Now, you do got snow up here in the plains, but it's light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on and just zoom into this area. Okay? Then we start to get into Tuesday evening, the 18th. This is snow right here, right where Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma kind of come together. This is heavy snow falling and very cold temperatures. Guys, I'm going to look at the temperatures here in this case. That's snow falling in the low teens to single digits in this area. I mean, this is not just a 30-degree snow. This is a cold snow. It's pretty impressive because we're getting late in February too. But all rain in the green, corridor freezing rain going all the way into areas of northern Texas, really central to south central Oklahoma, areas of Arkansas. And then we start to get into, this is starting to get into Tuesday night. Look at how heavy that snow is in northern Arkansas, southern Missouri. I mean, this is snow, like I can't reiterate this enough. This is snow falling in extremely cold temperatures. Snowing like crazy in Springfield. Snow can make it all the way up to St. Louis. Will this tick north? Start to throw you guys more in the mix. I think some heavy snow could fall in Kansas City. But this is a nasty icing event developing. And then check it out, more cold air in all the upper levels of the atmosphere becomes involved. So some of these areas that might start off as freezing rain go to snow. And then as we're getting into the wee hours in the morning, Wednesday morning, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, this winter weather begins. This is like midnight. Winter storm begins to move into Memphis. And then western Tennessee, western Kentucky, heavy snow starting to move into southern Illinois. The Boot Hill, Missouri getting very heavy snow, waking up Wednesday morning. Heck, we even got frozen precipitation into northern Mississippi. Freezing rain gets all the way down to the Louisiana-Arkansas line. And then this thing begins to head off to the east, and we're pretty much done with it as we get into Wednesday afternoon with the cold air that settles in. So that's the latest Euro. What I do want to show you guys is, and we're not going to compare a bunch of model guides. I like what the Euro, I'm sticking with the Euro. I think it's done very well with this storm and staying, and it's done, I say very, very well, like like the storm's happened already, but with just staying rock solid with a solution. There hasn't been dramatic ticks one way or the other. But this is already the National Weather Service forecast. And let's see if there's another one. There isn't. This is already in the National Weather Service forecast. Just between now and Tuesday evening. The storm hasn't fully moved into Arkansas yet. And guys, they're already going for over 10 inches of snow near Springfield and Joplin. And they're going for over a half a foot of snow. And even though you didn't see a lot of heavy snow up here in Nebraska and Kansas, the snow is going to be falling in such cold temperatures, it's going to add up with ease. So, you know, just already taking a closer look at let's do this. Y'all just bear with me for a minute. Let's look at Kansas. It's still snowing for some of these areas, especially in eastern Kansas. They're already going for, like in southeast Kansas, 6 to 10 inches of snow. Okay, looking at Missouri, for example. This is just between now and 6 p.m. Tuesday evening. Still snowing. Going for a foot of snow right around Joplin and Springfield. Like 8 to 12 inches of snow. They're already going for a few inches of snow. Now, this is combining a little bit of this system. Barely, though. Like not even an inch of snow. But watch how it feels in. It's already going for accumulating snow in northeast Oklahoma and northern areas of Arkansas. But let's zoom back out of this area. Okay, and let's start to compare some model guidance. What about the latest Euro that we just showed you guys? Look how much snow it's going for. All right, this is between now and Thursday morning. It's going for a foot to almost a foot and a half of snow in the southern half of Missouri. Over a foot of snow for areas of the Ozarks. Over a foot of snow in northern and northeast Oklahoma. And some say, Mitch, I think this is overdone. I don't think it is. I think it might be a little overdone, like most model guidance is, but sometimes model guidance is underdone. But if we get heavy snow in this setup with these temperatures, it's just going to accumulate like it ain't nothing. So this is a serious situation, and this could be a major winter storm for areas of Missouri and surrounding states. It doesn't show a whole lot of snow down here in Little Rock. It does show 4 to 5 inches of snow in Memphis. Northern Mississippi even shows accumulating snow. And western areas of Kentucky, a lot of snow. And we're going to zoom into all these areas. I know it's kind of like barely showing up on your screen, but listen, you guys know I got you covered. Just really kind of, we can fumble through a bunch of model guides. Like this is the Euro Ensemble, and it's not done, so I have to look at the 12Z. This is blending a bunch of model guidance together. And sure, it's not as crazy as what the Euro run is, but this is pretty impressive for southern Missouri, northeast Oklahoma, southeast Kansas, northern Arkansas. You have a 6 to 8 inch snowfall mean. So it's a pretty impressive signal for this area. Now, they do have some individual graphics already up for this area. Kansas City, they're going for 5 to 8 inches of snow with this event. Topeka, 5 to 8. Emporia, 5 to 10. This could be combining a little bit of the snow right now, but, you get south of Kansas City, they're going for well over a half a foot. And then you look at kind of southern areas of Kansas. Wichita going for 4 to 8, but you start to get into, like, eastern areas of Kansas, and this orange color, this is starting to get closer to a foot. And then we show, like, northeastern Oklahoma. They're already going for around an inch in Tulsa, but more than this could fall. And this is just between now and 6 p.m. Tuesday. So this really isn't the event. And unfortunately, Springfield does not have a graphic up. And that really stinks. Let's see. I'm going to try to see if they've changed anything just since somehow I got Springfield memorized. That's crazy, right? But yeah, they don't have a graphic up. So I would love. We're gonna show you guys a lot of love in Southwest Missouri because you're gonna be a highlight of this storm. But one thing to show you guys, and this is the run. Let's look at 18Z. All right, looks like the ice is a little bit further south, so that's interesting. But remember I showed you all this snow right up here, but this is freezing rain. So going for, a 0.2 of an inch of freezing rain around Little Rock, going for some freezing rain in areas of northern Mississippi, mixed with a little bit of snow, and we got this freezing rain in kind of south central Oklahoma. So some areas could definitely get freezing rain out of this too. We're not going to avoid it. This is kind of section 1, if you will, of freezing rain for the south central U.S. Okay, so that's an update on the southern plains, south central U.S. Now let's go on and break down my friends here in the eastern U.S. And this is where we'll wrap up the video and we'll spend some time because this is where I live. This is where a lot of my viewers are from, right here in this area. So this is my first time looking at this too. I don't know if it's going to look colder, warmer. I don't know what it's going to do. All I know is that the Euro this afternoon, which was one of the coldest runs we've seen. But We'll start it off. This is 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday morning. We got snow moving into Nashville, western Kentucky. Snow starting to move into Evansville, Indiana. We got snow even moving into northern Alabama. Let's already see. Yeah, I mean, it already looks colder to me. Like, you look at the run prior and you look at the run now. It looks more suppressed, which means it's probably going to be a colder run. So we start to get into Wednesday morning. All right. That is heavy snow in northern Alabama now. You look at the run prior, I mean, there was snow in northern Alabama, but, I mean, not as heavy. Now, that is heavy snow into northern Alabama. This is heavy snow into the entire western half of Tennessee. Snow is starting to make it into eastern Tennessee. Okay, so this is Wednesday morning. Snow starting to get into West Virginia, and then boom. Okay, this is about 9, 10, 11 o'clock. Wednesday morning, it's still snowing for almost the entire state of Tennessee. It's still snowing for northern Alabama. It's snowing in northern Mississippi. It's even snowing now in northern areas of Georgia. So let's compare and contrast. Run prior. All right. Looks colder for northern Georgia. And then we move to the next run here. Look at that snow now in the extreme upstate of South Carolina. We got a big-time winter storm starting to move into western North Carolina, and a winter storm pretty much moving into, in fact, let's just go on and zoom into this area. And then we're gonna zoom into the northeast too. Okay. Look, we got freezing rain in upstate South Carolina. We got freezing rain in the Sandhills in North Carolina. We got heavy snow moving into like just north and west of Greenville, Spartanburg. It's snowing like crazy in northeast Georgia. It's snowing in western North Carolina. It's snowing up into Kentucky, West Virginia. You take it one more. The freezing rain is trying to sneak all the way down into Columbia, South Carolina now. So we got this corridor of freezing rain all the way into central North Carolina. It is now trying to sneak and get snow into Charlotte now. Okay, so let's compare. That's colder. Did you see that tick? Let's zoom into the Carolinas really quick, and you'll really see that tick. This is the run this afternoon that came in a lot colder. This is the next run. You see how the ice kind of ticks south and the snow ticks south? Colder run. Colder run. That's interesting. Now let's zoom back out. Go to the next frame. You got all out freezing rain now all the way into Columbia. This is 7 p.m. Wednesday evening. And you have just like a dividing line of just a wintry mess in Charlotte. For example, this would be all winter weather in the Greenville, Spartanburg area. All winter weather in the Raleigh. Like from Charlotte to Raleigh, you're like right on the fringe of ice and snow. It is snowing like crazy up in Hickory with this. All snow, Greensboro. This is trending colder on us. It's snowing back in Tennessee, Kentucky. And then we keep this going. Okay? And, I mean, you got freezing rain all the way down to Myrtle Beach. It's switching to snow back in Charlotte. It's snowing in eastern Tennessee, eastern Kentucky, West Virginia. Big time snowstorm moving into Virginia. And it is snowing like crazy on this in eastern areas of Virginia and in the Delmarva. Okay, now let's go on and widen this view out because I don't want to leave my people hanging up here in the northeast. Does this get up the coast? This is a 975 millibar low. You get this up the coast, this could be a blizzard for the Delmarva, for New Jersey. This is getting into 7 a.m. Thursday. And then it misses southern New England. But man, let's make a trend. Let's spend a little more time on this. Okay? I'm going to do a GIF. All right, let's compare runs and let's do it slow. This is the last 5 runs. You see how it's trended colder? See how all the winter weather colors have ticked down? That is one heck of a trend by the Euro. I mean, this is almost getting heavy snow all the way down into Charlotte. One heck of a trend, guys. So, yeah, we got a situation unfolding. This is why I make 2 videos a day, guys. It's why I make 2 videos a day. So let's look at snowfall. Let's exit off that because that's a GIF going crazy. And I'm not going to compare model guys because some people might say, well, Mitch, you know, you're being biased. Well, that's cool. I mean, you can think that, but I don't think the GFS is handling this well. So let's look at the latest. Let's look at the latest look on snow here. All this is what's going on right now, what's going to happen overnight. See how it fills in now? Boom. So all this right into here, this is for what's to come. All this up into here, it's not. So it wants to dump in like Kentucky, and this is combining some of the snow tonight, okay, into tomorrow. But it wants to dump 6, 7, 8 inches of snow into Kentucky. Nashville, it hits you guys. Let's zoom in. Nashville, it wants to give you a half a foot of snow. Charlotte, guys, I mean, this is the crazy thing. I mean, look at Charlotte. I mean, 5 inches of snow. You go south to hardly nothing. Greenville, Spartanburg now looking like snow on this particular run. And I mean, look at Virginia. Let's get a closer look at these areas. This is the latest Euro run. I mean, this trend is crazy. I mean, you can tell that I'm a little baffled just in the middle of the video. But Virginia, I mean, 12 to 24 inches of snow for the state. And I'm not saying this is a forecast, but this is wild stuff, guys. I mean, it is. It's wild. And once again, if you kind of look at the GIF from this area, let's look at this. Watch how the snow line creeps south. That's a heck of a trend. So, yeah, I mean, do I think this trend is going to continue until we get like 6 inches of snow in Columbia? I don't. I think we're going to stop this at some point. I really do. But, yeah, no, just taking another wider look, you know, it's pretty wild. It's a lot of snow. Now, you know, the Euro ensemble is running, and it is getting in range. And it has increased. Now, this only goes out to about Wednesday evening, so it's not completed. But let's see if it's increased. It's not really done, so it's hard to look at it. It's increased further south, but I would say the actual mean inside the footprint of snow looks like it decreased. But the snow footprint broadened into the upstate of South Carolina, all the way into the Midlands. Like, for example, I mean, you got like a 0.3 of an inch mean now in Columbia, which I don't really foresee us getting snow. But, you know, if you compare this with that, there has been a nudge south. So that tells me that more members are probably icy, which leads me to this. This is the run for ice earlier, okay? This is the current run of ice, and I haven't seen this. So come on. So yeah, I mean, it looks like it is a little bit further south. Now, it's a wild cutoff in like the Midlands, but I mean, you get right outside the Midlands, guys, and I mean, in like the PD of South Carolina, upstate of South Carolina, it is wanting to pump out a lot of freezing rain. I mean, you know, just taking a closer, and this isn't a forecast, but, you know, just taking a closer look here at the Carolinas and areas with this freezing rain. And I mean, gosh, you know, 0.6 of an inch of freezing rain in Fayetteville, that would be devastating. I don't think this is going to happen, but one thing to note here is the icing is starting to drop off in Charlotte because you're mixing more with sleet and snow. It's turning more into a mix of everything, and the ice is shifting to the south. So that's certainly one thing to watch, for sure. Let's look at this. Now, this is probably going to be overdone, but yeah. So it's definitely a situation that is just trending south, I would say. So, I mean, honestly, guys, that's about all I got with this. And let's see if we got this out a little bit further. We do. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, look at the mean exploding into southeast Virginia, northern North Carolina. You compare that with this, and I mean, yeah, it's lessened up a little bit, but it's probably because it's just dropped south and it's more ice now. But I mean, you look at the, I forgot, I can't. But just a closer look at the Carolinas, I mean, it looks like the snow footprint has kind of dropped and sagged south. So this is one heck of an interesting situation. And I haven't really had time to really dive into what's driving this. I will once we can move past this weekend storm system. But guys, it's wild stuff. Wild stuff. So we'll have you updated information in the morning. God bless. We'll see if we continue to trend colder if we go back the other way. But that's all I got. Thank y'all for tuning in.